Alrighty guys, so this is a quick video showing off my 2,000 point Blood Angels army for this weekend. Hoping to try to get into my local Games Workshop store. There's also a few other stores that play Warhammer here. Just moved to a new city, so trying to feel the waters out here. Newer player, so if you guys have any advice on this list, you can see any things that I'm missing or just obvious irregularities, please let me know. So this is my Blood Angel Successor chapter, using a chapter name generator online. The name that I found that I liked the most was the Archangels Excelsior, and this chapter is using the Blood Angels chapter tactics. So you can see it's a pretty medium-sized force, pretty assault-based army. I am definitely a bigger fan of playing this army than my Tau army. I feel like there's a little bit more that goes into it. You're not as, just point and shoot kind of thing. I do like the Tau army, I like the miniatures, but since I've played this army, I've grown very, very fond of the assault phase, which is funny just because the Tau is just such a polar opposite kind of thing. So this is a 2,000 point army. I'm going to show off each, from here. I'm just going to zoom in on certain models and we'll take a look at them and describe how they're used in the game. And like I said, if there's any huge things that this list doesn't have right, please let me know. As far as the Assault Squad Rhino, Last Plaza Rhino, I've tried it, and so I have considered it. I've tried it several times, and it just does not work for me. I have the worst luck with just getting my Rhinos just destroyed. I like having 20 bodies of troops that can claim objectives is pretty good, as opposed to the 10 that I usually see with double Rhinos. For me, I just like the mobility that the jetpacks give me, but I'm open to the consideration, but I've tried it several times and just had the worst luck with it. I do have other miniatures that aren't shown here. We have a Sanguinor, Assault Captain, Mephiston, Librarian Dreadnought, which is work in progress, Sanguinary Guard, and Sanguinary Priest. For the sake of this 2,000 point list, I wanted to sort of maximize my point value and not play the 275 point commanders. So we're going to show you what we got here, and hope you guys enjoy the video. Alrighty, so first guy on the list, we have the HQ of the army, the commander of the force, the Reclusiarch. So 130 points for the base model. The only upgrade that I went with was the Meltabomb upgrade, just because I'm usually throwing him in the Death Company against some of the stronger units in my opponent's lists. And so the Meltabomb just give him a little extra oomph in combat. I definitely enjoyed this model. It goes in the Storm Raven with the Death Company and the Death Company Dread, and gives the Death Company troops, the nice reroll to hit, reroll to wound bonus. It's a great looking model. I'm really a fan of the Genna's Gold on the skull. Love it. As you can see, most of the models are, actually all the models except for the one Storm Raven, that one just needs the basing, but they're all done in sort of like an urban urban snow scheme kind of thing. We made the snow using a half and half mixture of white glue and baking soda, so it comes out with a really nice effect. The Reclusiarch is just a great addition to the army. So he's the HQ. We also are running a Librarian, so we'll check him out next. Okay, so this is the Librarian of the army. This is Librarian Gabriel. Forgot to mention it in the last clip, but the Reclusiarch's name is Brother Augustus. So I'm a big fan on the narrative purposes of the game. I like forging the narrative during the game, even if it means not making the best tactical decisions. But anyway, so this is Librarian Gabriel. So you can see it's a Dark Vengeance Librarian. We shaved down the knife piece just a little bit. Wasn't able to get it flush, but when we put the paint on there, you can almost not even notice it from, unless you're right up on the model, you won't really notice it. One of the recurring themes in this army will be darker red for the Librarian. So Mephiston is painted in a dark red color scheme. The Librarian Dreadnought will be painted in a dark red color scheme. And this guy has his white power armor underneath it. So we pay the points, 125 points, to upgrade him to Psychic Mastery level 2. I like to roll Telepathy for him. Being able to give the Terminator's invisibility is really nice. But also, Psychic Shriek is probably my favorite psychic power yet that I've played with. Being able to just annihilate entire units is just fantastic. And, in terms of rolls, the 3d6, I guess I'm really fortunate with it. I think I've only whiffed a few times with the 3d6, and usually I'm taking out a huge chunk of a very important unit. And I like to put these Terminators against some of the weaker units in my opponent's army, but they are obviously good if they had to go against a more higher priority target. So these Terminators go in the second Storm Raven of the army. I'll show you that here in a second. And they sort of zoom around the table with the Librarian inside, and do whatever they need to do. As far as the models go, I think whenever I'm finished with the Librarian Dreadnought, I'll probably be substituting the Sniper Squad and the Sniper Squad and the Librarian for the Librarian Dread, and I might add some upgrades into the other units, maybe locator beacons or things like that in the Storm Ravens. But for now, I'm content with the Librarian at 125 points. I think he fits well with the army, and he just wrecks on the tabletop. So that's the that's the Librarian of the army. That is Librarian Gabriel. And in this army, like I said, we just have one elite slot filled right now. We do have the Furioso Librarian Dreadnought, but for now we'll go ahead and talk about those while we're here. So 5-man assault squad with Thunderhammer, Storm Shield upgrades. Fantastic unit. Like I said, I absolutely adore this unit in the Storm Raven. They're just fantastic. Do a lot of work for me, and I really do enjoy the miniatures. Painting them, my fiance did an excellent job, and definitely one of my favorite units in this entire army. Just being able to whack things with the Thunderhammer is just fantastic. In a recent video on Mini Wargaming, I saw a guy who put the Reclusiarch with the Terminators, and it was a really nice combination, being able to reroll hits, and it's something that I've been toying around with. I wouldn't be exactly sure what I would do in terms of substituting Librarian. I do like being able to reroll hits and wounds with all my Death Company power weapons. So we'll see on that. I still got to try it out. I haven't given it as much thought as the last Plaz Rhino assault troop, sort of list. But for now, this is working out excellently, and it's definitely one of my favorite units in the entire army. Okay, so as far as troops go, we're running 4 troop units. So we're running 2 10-man squads of Assault Marines, as you can see here. These are bare bones with the exception of the sergeant with... both sergeants with the power swords, and no melta bombs, no fancy things like that, no meltas or anything like that. I've considered it, but I wanted to save the points for other upgrades like the Mastery Level 2 on the Librarian and different things like that. So like I said, really conserving the points on the troops and just trying to get them as cheap as possible to get as many as possible in this list. So with that being said, the one thing I did want to ask for advice is about combat squadding. When do you guys combat squad? I know I was reading Fritz's 40K article about unit sizes and unit diversity, and the one thing that he said was you don't want to make 10-man units when your opponent can kill 10-man units as easily as they can 5-man units. Obviously, it makes sense to combat squad because if you're playing a Tau player that can deal you 7 wounds a turn to a unit. And you take 7 unsaved wounds to a unit, and you wipe the unit out. You're left with 3. You get a leadership test. So you lost 2 guys, whereas in a 5-man unit, you actually only lost 5 guys. So it makes sense, but I've found that when I combat squad and when I finally make it into combat, usually my numbers are a little dwindled. Like I said, I'm a newer player, so it could be just tactics. I want to know what you guys think about these Assault Marines. What do you guys do? Do you combat squad them? Are you a fan of the last Plaz Rhino? Like I said, I'm totally open. I've tried it didn't like it, open to it in the future, but you know, as far as that goes, that's where we're at with the Assault Marines. So 2 squads of 10, 205 points each with the Sergeant with the Power Sword. Just fantastic addition to the army. Definitely, you can see that Sergeant up front is probably my favorite miniature in the whole army. Just looks-wise, he just looks like a badass. So definitely my favorite. So we have Sergeant Zephyros up front and Sergeant Japheth in the back somewhere in there, in that huge lot of boys. Forgot to mention, I guess I'm doing horrible, but that would be Sergeant Alexander, the Terminator Sergeant over there. So, you know, we'll go on with the rest of the army and sort of see the rest of the troops. So up next we have the Death Company over here. Sorry, it's a little dim in this little desk thing, but we have the Death Company. So we have 7 Death Company, 2 Power Swords, 1 Thunderhammer, and the rest are just regular guys. We have an 8th Thunderhammer, or the 8th model that has a Thunderhammer for certain games, but I haven't been able to fit in the 8th Thunderhammer in this list yet. I'm thinking of cutting a few things to possibly see if that would be a possibility, but for now, I like it the way it is. It does well. Rerolls to hit and to wound are pretty nasty, and like I said, the unit just wrecks face, and it's just a fantastic unit for me. You can see in the back we also run a Librarian, or excuse me, a Furioso Death Company Dreadnought. So he's modeled with a Magna Grapple, but for 2,000 points in this list, I'm not paying for the 15 points for the Magna Grapple. Okay, so up next we have the Scout Snipers, paying the extra 15 points for the Camo Cloak upgrade. As far as the unit goes, you can see I only have 2 sculpts of the miniature. I have the 3 standing and 2 kneeling, looking downrange. I haven't picked out a sniper sergeant yet, or a sniper sergeant name. I have no idea how to distinguish them, so if you guys have any ideas on what to do with that, let me know. There's so many things I could do. I was thinking maybe just a gold stripe on the barrel, something like that. I know there's one sergeant in particular or one Marine Scout guy in particular that just did ridiculous last game, so, you know, maybe we'll let the narrative decide which one becomes the sergeant, but it was actually this guy up here in the front who did pretty good, was able to kill a Crisis battle suit, and then when he assaulted it, was able to kill another one, so took out 2 of 3 Crisis suits, which wasn't too bad, and secured an objective to win the game, so pretty cool guy. I just have to figure out how I'm going to identify him as the sergeant, so any suggestions are appreciated. Coming up next, you can see in the back we have 2 Ball Predators, so Ball Predator 1, Ball Predator 2. I'll just zoom back a little bit. You can see I paid for the Assault Cannon and the Heavy Bolter side sponsons. I'm not a huge fan of the Flamestorm Cannon, especially now that template weapons can only kill up to their maximum range. So in 6th edition it was pretty sweet being able to just triple flame template and kill like 30 guys, and it was awesome, but now I feel like the army needs these assault cannons just to add a little bit of firepower support for the rest of the army. You know, they're mobile, scout 12 inches at the end of the game, they're fast tanks, so they zoom around the battlefield, and I think they do well. Ignore the top hatch on the left one. I need to finish it. I didn't realize it until like 5 seconds ago that it wasn't done. But yeah, anyway, so these work well. Like I said, they get popped all the time. Same with my rhinos, but you know, it is what it is. I like these a little bit more than the rhinos, just being able to have my troops in a separate area, not with them, and being able to claim objectives with these is pretty nice. So there's the 2 Ball Predators. I think they come out to 145 points each, so 290 for the lot of them. They just do so much for the army. So last we have the 2 heavy support choices, so we'll take a look at both of those, and that should be the rest of the army. Next we have the White Storm Raven that carries the Terminators and Librarian, and in the future the Librarian Dreadnought into battle. As you can see, has the Twin Link Blast Cannon, Twin Link Multi-Melta upgrade, 200 points. It's pretty awesome. Still have to do the basing on it. You can see it has some decent weathering on it. Probably just, like I said, the whole Terminator squad in this is probably my favorite Death Star-ish unit of the game. It's just a fantastic model. in my opinion. Some people really don't like it. I do. I think it looks slick. It has that old sort of wingy weather. It just has that retro sort of beat up, you know, almost Star Wars-esque look in terms of the gunship for the Clone Troopers. I like the miniature. I like the paint job. I just like everything about this model. You can see, I'll point this out because someone did to me yesterday. Apparently I have the tail fin on backwards. And in my local GW, it's on backwards. Online, it's on the correct way. But several people who are like really good painters and really good modelers do it backwards. I think it makes sense in terms of aerodynamics. If it had nothing on it, you know, not the ailerons or whatever they're called, I think it makes more sense for them to be this direction. And the other way, it looks even more unaerodynamic than than people say it is. So I put them on backwards. They're glued down. It is what it is. I like them the way that way. I mean, it really doesn't bother me, but apparently 2-3 people have told me it's not a big deal, I don't think. Anyway, so we're going to go on to the second Storm Raven. Okay, so this is the second Storm Raven. This is the Death Company Storm Raven. So same loadout, Last Cannon, Multi-Melta. Ferries around the Death Company Dreadnought, and the HQ of the army. So pretty important payload there. I like to use this against some of my opponent's better units. Like it's the same as the other one. It's just a fantastic model. I love everything about the paint job. I think the Death Company colors were a good choice, and going with the white for the other one was a solid choice. As far as that goes, this one also has a tail on backwards, so not a big deal, I don't think. But several people have told me, so just to save the comment. We did a little bit more dry brushing on this one. I really enjoy the way this one looks. Same thing, 200 points for this guy. If any of you guys have Storm Ravens, I have a question for you. So these little clear bits over here and over there and on the other one, what do you guys do with them? I've seen some people paint them black. I've seen some people try to tint them. I've seen several different ways to do them up. I think on these, I might paint one like yellow and one green or something to that effect. I don't want to do red just because red's on the other miniatures. I want them to be sort of like beacon, landing, light kind of things. I'm not exactly sure what they're supposed to be, since most people do just paint them black. A black light really doesn't make any sense for a craft. But I'm curious to see what you guys do with these. Got threes. Okay, so 2-up save. Oh my gosh, what the frick? What the frick?
So one die.
No, 3 die.
Oh, 3.
1, 2, and then since this one's closer, I wish that was equidistant, so 3. So 3 Terminators dead.